Deontay Banks smacked him so hard that his left foot didn't hit down.
Didn't hit down.
Just swung and missed the ground like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy play because I also wasn't sure about that rule if it was like the same foot hitting twice. If that counts.
I like that it went under review and then it came back as an incomplete pass, and then Mike Tomlin anyways threw the challenge, and then they lost a timeout because they were like, you can't challenge something that was already under review.
Like, we literally just looked at it.
I was like, that is amazing.
The referees are like, what did you think we were just doing? That was a wild. That really put the cap on just a wild week of football.
Yeah, Broderick Jones sucks.
Oh,
he does suck, yeah. Najee continues like a career year on a contract year.
Yeah, I wrote in the group chat, instead of wearing jeans, he turned them into jorts.
He did.
100%.
I don't think you've ever explained that on this podcast. Explain why you say he looks like he's wearing jeans.
Well, every time Najee runs the ball, he like every probably like 4 plays or so, he gets into this area where there's no defenders near him for whatever reason, and then he just starts running like he has super tight jeans on. And
he can't move. Yeah,
he can't move. But last game, he's looking kind of speedy, so I was like, yeah, he cut him down to some jorts.
Yep.
maybe like some cargo pants.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hit up Gardner Minshew, and he's like, hey, how do you make those jorts?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's growing a mullet as we speak too,
and a mustache.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Dressing up as Gardner Minshew for Halloween. By the way, it's Halloween on the day this is going to be coming out. It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween to all. Hope you all get drunk and wear costumes and
eat a lot of candy.
As
we shall be.
Yes.
Mostly drunk part. Maybe.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Sure. No, definitely.
Somewhere in a garage.
We can do both at the same time with Jello shots.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
That
your calories.
Those would be like the cool houses, like giving kids Jello shots.
Yeah. That's not illegal.
That sounds like a good
Okay. Well, do we have any Halloween themed music? Start us off with?
There's a lot of Halloween movies with just
the Monster Mash
theme intros. Well, that would be a banger for sure. That's a good one.
Yeah. This is the mash.
This is the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
Something about the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash.
More Monster Mash.
Oh.
Yep. Bop, bop.
Good enough.
We can make that work.
Yeah.
Just make anything work. Welcome back to Last of Sports Talk Podcast. Today's Wednesday, October 30th, but you're seeing this on Halloween, like we just said. And this is episode 49. This is our Week 8 review. I'm joined by Kean Kropp, Cletus Smith. I'm Cody Kropp. So we're going to start it off with our Week 8 review, followed by our Chris Collinsworth Glaze. And, yeah, let's get right into it. Week 8, let's go over some college. So first game I'll touch on Syracuse and Pitt.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to discuss this week. A lot more excitement and drama going on in the NFL this week. But college football, the games that we covered, there were some absolute beat downs. So this first one here, I was absolutely wrong. Pittsburgh at home, number 19, absolutely beat the shit out of Syracuse. It was 41-13. I thought that Slam Chunk, Fat Boy Kyle McCord, former Ohio State quarterback, could go out there and carry his team. He did his darn best. They had him throw the ball 64 times.
That's ridiculous.
Kyle McCord was 35 of 64, which is not a great it's not a great completion percentage. Yeah, but to throw the ball 64 times in one game?
That's ridiculous.
That takes Justin Herbert like 3 games to throw that.
Seriously.
But 321 yards, 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the game for Kyle McCord.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. That's pretty darn good. That's like Nathan Peterman stat line.
That's not as bad if you look at how many times he threw it.
Yeah, I guess
it's still bad.
The proportions, it's not terrible. But, I mean, Pitt just went in there and showed that they were clearly the better team. Now 7-0.
Yep.
Cody, get those
moved
rankings
up to
pulled
number
up.
18.
Number 8. They only moved up 1 spot.
Yeah.
Nicely done. All right. Well, I mean, it was just at one point it was. Let me get the. At one point it was 31-0. So like that.
So that's
they had. And in the first half alone, here it is. Kyle McCord had 3 pick sixes. Threw 3 pick sixes in the first half alone.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. And then there was Syracuse also fumbled once, and 4 total interceptions in the first half, but 3 of those were pick sixes. Absolutely crazy. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like Pitt should have rose at least a little bit because I thought the Syracuse team was better than that. And just to I mean, I know that interceptions are kind of they're not really a sticky stat. A lot of times it is like right place, right time. Mm-hmm. But I guess to force a guy to throw 5 interceptions, that's got to be at least a little bit impressive. And I feel like they should have rose more than that. But Pitt stays undefeated. They're at home. In this game this week they play another tough game against a ranked SMU team that's also looked good, so we'll talk about that in the next episode. But not a whole lot to speak on here. It was just more of a Kyle McCord falling apart than it was Pitt doing anything that was super impressive. So Syracuse is not as good as I thought they were. So
yep. Boise State went to UNLV and beat them 29-24. UNLV played a great game, really, and they kept it close the whole time and were really trying to put up a fight. And they looked pretty good overall, honestly, and had some explosive plays and held the lead for a while. Even it was just a back and forth game, pretty much the whole game. And their defense, because obviously when you talk about Boise State, you talk about Ashton Jeanty. And really, UNLV did. This is all relative to what Genty does, but UNLV didn't do a bad job. They held Genty to, now like I just said, it's relative. They held him to 33 carries, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown, which is great. But I mean, normally if you say, yeah, we're going to give Genty 33 carries, you're going to be like, this dude's going to get 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. But so they really didn't do bad holding him there, and they didn't really. UNLV did a good job against Boise State's pass rushers, who really aren't the story of that team. But everyone was around 40 or under, so it wasn't anything great. But Boise State on the other side, Genty, like we just talked about, had not as many yards as normal, but he's still great. He's still a great player. He still looked good. And their quarterback, Maddox Madsen, he honestly put on a nice show and had some good plays and did enough to win the game for them. But really what killed UNLV was they had too many penalties, and their time of possession was a lot less than Boise State. They got killed in that, and those big plays from Boise State really hurt them. But if Boise State's pass rush wasn't what it was, they probably would have lost. But with all that put together, and the time of possession, Boise State had it 34 minutes compared to UNLV's 26. That just let them squeak out the win, and Boise State moved from 17 to 15 with this win. And I have the next one too, huh?
Yes, you do, sir.
Notre Dame goes in and puts a beat down on the Navy team, which was kind of not what any of us expected at all. And Dylan Gabriel must have heard us and been like, you know what? I'm still here. I'm still a good player. And
Dylan Gabriel?
Sorry, not Dylan Gabriel. What's his name?
Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard. Yeah, that's on me. But either way, Notre Dame, this game just absolutely dominated on defense. Riley Leonard had a great game, but Notre Dame forced 5 fumbles and 1 interception, and that's pretty much all you need to hear. And that's why it was a beat down, and Navy couldn't keep a hold of the ball, and they had double the amount of penalties as Notre Dame did. And Notre Dame really didn't have many negatives this game. They capitalized on basically all those fumbles and all those turnovers with some points of some sort, whether it be field goal or touchdown. And Riley Leonard had some huge rushes down the field and no turnovers. I don't think the offense had any turnovers for Notre Dame in this game, so there's not many negatives on that side. Navy on the other side, they had some good-looking drives getting down the field. Third downs, they were pretty successful, and some nice big plays by their quarterback, Horvath. But it just was not enough to overcome the 5 fumbles and interception by Navy. That's hard to come back from for any team, and a team that's already an underdog that's not really known to be explosive on offense to catch up. It's going to make it tough. So Notre Dame, let me check where they're sitting at now in the AP rankings. Notre Dame is...
They're at 8.
Oh, yeah, they're at 8, which feels crazy. but they're
playoff bound, baby.
Yeah, so Notre Dame moved up to 8, and Navy I think was 24, and they're obviously dropped out now.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I think at the end of the year, last week, every year is always an Army-Navy game, and that could, I mean, Army is still undefeated. If Army wins that game, they could somehow squeak into the playoffs. We don't know. We don't know how this playoff works yet.
Right. We'll see.
So we shall see. But for the time being, let's talk about Alabama. Just they got their legs back underneath them, and they proved that this Missouri team is fake. Number 13 Alabama beat number 21 Missouri. It was 34-0 in Alabama. It was never close. I mean, it was close at 0-0, but then Alabama just here was how the game went for Missouri. I'm going to just go through their drive summaries. Obviously, it's not good. Punt, 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 interception, turnover on downs, interception, punt, turnover on downs. It was
yikes.
They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
How many yards they got on the day? They had 72 passing yards on the day, only 239 total yards, and Alabama had 486 total yards.
Woo!
So that just about tells you everything that you need to know. Brady Cook did not look good. He went 7 for 12 for 30 yards. He's their quarterback for Missouri. And likewise, that's why Luther Burden only had 3 catches for 3 yards. He top receiver in this upcoming draft, but Alabama completely kicked him in the nuts in this game, and not even like Jalen Milroe had a great game. He went 16 of 26 for 215 yards, added another 50 yards on the ground. I mean, it was just Missouri now 6-2. They're
moved down to 25.
Yeah,
ranked 25.
Still ranked. Okay, well, it just was not a pretty game at all, and they have no shot at making it in the playoff. Alabama, I guess, regained some life. What did they move up to now?
14. They moved down to 14.
No, they were 15.
Oh, I thought it was 13.
Not a whole lot of
movement. You said 13 earlier, but yeah, they were 15.
My bad.
They're now 14 now.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of movement this week in the rankings, which is kind of surprising.
Alabama is the highest team up there that has 2 losses right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Alabama, I don't really – this has been a confusing season for them. Obviously, you lose Nick Saban, and you don't really know what you're going to get the next year. So this is just kind of like a learning curve for them, bringing in Kalen DeBoer. Just kind of have to rebuild the program, because I know that over the offseason, whenever Saban left, a lot of their biggest recruits are like, I'm decommitting and I'm going to go somewhere else because I don't get to play for Saban.
Yep.
So this Alabama team, they obviously are very, very streaky. So it depends. Like I wouldn't want to play this Alabama team if they're playing like this in the playoff. But you could also just get an Alabama team that just gets absolutely smoked. Like the Alabama team, any given week, can go out and beat Georgia as they did. That was a great game by then. But then the next week they can get beat by Arkansas, I think is who they got.
Yeah, it was Arkansas.
Arkansas. But I don't know. I don't know what to take from this Alabama team. I just know that they're probably going to be in the playoff at the end of the day, just because of the pedigree of this program and their history. So it's just a matter of Jalen Milroe. He honestly reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. I mean, I know that's an easy comp. Both went to Alabama, both rushing quarterbacks with questions about their arm, but like streaky players who you don't know what you're going to get from week to week.
Yeah,
so that's kind of just what we see. But let's move on to the next game here. Mm-hmm. And my boys, number 14, Texas A&M, they didn't beat them that bad, but they won 38-23 against number 8 LSU. It was at Kyle Field, so at home for Texas A&M. And it wasn't even a great offensive performance by Texas A&M, but this defense that I've been talking about the few times we've talked about Texas A&M this year, this defense is absolutely legit. The defensive line pressured Garrett Nussmeier all game long. Nick Scorton had 7 pressures on the game. He's going to get drafted in the first round. He had 1 sack. They had 3 guys with at least 3 pressures on the game. Just quarterback hurries out the wazoo. Garrett Nussmeier only threw – he completed 50% of his passes. He went 25 for 50, 405 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So going into the second half, so at halftime it was 17-7. LSU was up. And then in the second half, it just kind of all imploded. That's when Garrett Nussmeier threw all 3 of his interceptions, all in the second half.
That ain't going to work.
And Texas A&M came back, so they held LSU to 6 points in the second half, and Texas A&M scored 31. So they started to finally get pressure on him, and he just he cowered. And we saw Texas A&M's quarterback, Connor Weigman, he got benched in the second half because, his stat line here is 6 for 18 through the air, 64 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But he got benched for the redshirt freshman, Marcel Reed, who had been starting for Weigman whenever he was injured earlier in the year. And he went in, he threw 2 passes. That's all he needed to throw. He went 2 for 2 for 70 yards. And then he added another 62 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns on the ground.
That's wild.
They got a full-on QB battle here. I hope that they just give it to Marcel Reed. He plays clean football. Is he flashy? No, but I think that he can Jimmy Garoppolo his way to just moving this team into the playoff. Because what they move up to, 12 almost?
Who are you talking about, A&M?
A&M.
A&M moved up to 10.
10, okay. So
LSU dropped all the way to 16.
Yeah. Now LSU, they're a 2-loss team? They're now 6-2.
LSU is. They're the second 2-loss team.
So LSU, I wouldn't say is completely out of it. They did.
No, they aren't.
They were killed basically by their own quarterback in this game, and just like the offensive line just kind of gave in because this defense of A&M is so good. Mm-hmm. But I've got high hopes for A&M. I'm still riding with them as my sleeper team in this college football playoff. I still feel like 10 is
They got a legit
too
shot.
low.
They got a legit shot.
They rely on that run game, which I know like some teams are gonna bite and just kind of fill the box, and you got to make Marcel Reed and or Connor Weigman throw eventually. But they had 242 rushing yards in this game against a good LSU team, a good LSU defense.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about LSU, how good they were on defense just the other week.
Exactly. So I got high hopes for this Texas A&M team. Looking forward to what they can do in the playoff as long as they can just keep winning and get there.
Yeah, let's get in the NFL.
Yeah, starting out with Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Absolutely.
Where the Vikings took on the Rams, and the Rams beat the Vikings 30-20 due to that Lions hangover. Yeah, we'll start with the Vikings here.
Well, I think last we talked about it before you get into it. Whenever we recorded, we didn't know about Puka coming back for sure because they just opened his window.
Yeah.
Whenever we talked about it. He ended up playing.
Think he was gonna come back.
And
we weren't even sure if he was going to practice.
Kupp. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And Cooper Kupp was back too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, they both came back. But we'll just start with Minnesota. Sam Darnold, he played well. Like he did almost everything he could. He went 18 for 25 passing, 240 and 2 touchdowns, no picks. So he did what you want out of him. He's trying to just be the general, but this Rams defense was killing the run game. Aaron Jones had 19 carries for only 58 yards. Yeah. They were just killing the run game, so they couldn't get really anything going on offense, and that's kind of how this offense works. Is they play off the run game.
Yep.
And I mean, Jetta's had a hell of a game, 8 catches, 115, but that's about it for receiving. Jetta's is going to be Jetta's, but
yeah, pretty much.
They couldn't get a run game going, so they really couldn't. It was like they never started.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they were turning the ignition, and you could see the starter
cranking
the motor, but you were out of gas, so it couldn't stay running.
Got gas in it.
Yeah, and then the Rams, Matthew Stafford is so damn good.
He's so good. Yeah.
I mean, he just shows how the past generation of quarterbacks is so much better than this generation of quarterbacks. They say Patrick Mahomes is the best. He's dog shit. He's dog shit. His touchdown to interception ratio is even. It's 1-to-1. Matthew Stafford just shows how much better the past generation was. And these new defenses, there's so many better schemes nowadays. The players might not hit as hard, and there might be more flags thrown for plays that would happen that wouldn't be thrown 10 years ago. But, dude, he just picks these defenses apart like it's nothing.
Yep.
And Kyron Williamson, he had a pretty good game, 23 for 97. No touchdowns, but it is what it is.
He's good at football. He is
good at football. Watching him, he broke away for a couple big runs. I was like, this guy's just torching this defense. Puka came back. He had 106 yards. We were like, We did. I saw him come out on the field. And I was like, "Oh, he's back! Holy shit, his hair's long."
Yeah.
And then he caught a bunch of balls, 7 balls for 106. And I was like, "Yeah, he's definitely back."
He's still him.
Yeah.
He is still him.
Demarcus Robinson from the depths of hell caught 2 balls and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Oh well, Kyron did have a touchdown. I forgot about that reception touchdown he had, but. Yeah, this Rams team, their offense was clicking. With how good this Vikings defense has been, for them to put up 30 is damn impressive.
It is.
And Jared Verse, hell of a game. He was getting
He's so good.
I don't know how many pressures he got, but he was
all of them.
Pass rushing and run blocking so well all game. Like, he's definitely worth that first-round pick they spent on him.
Yeah, he's been looking better. He was the second pass rusher draft. Actually, third. He was behind, obviously, Leatu Latu was the first defensive player, and then it was Dallas Turner, went at 20. But, yeah, Jared Verse, honestly, he might be the front runner for Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah.
In this game, he had 5 pressures, 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
I told you,
really
he was killing them.
Yeah. He played a solid game. Those Rams with weapons.
Yeah.
They're back,
They're back.
We'll talk about them on next episode to talk about, like, if they're for real or not. But I
don't even know if we need to talk about it because just look at the division standings. It doesn't matter.
They're all like equal.
Yeah, they're all 4-4, and one of them's
3-4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The Ravens got beat by the Brownies, 29-24. They lost. So, Ravens. Well, let's talk about the Browns first. It is a completely different. Jameis Winston started. And it is a completely different vibe with Jameis. Obviously, as you'd expect it to be. But it's like a completely different team. Seems like it was felt everywhere. Offense and defense. Like everyone, they were just playing better all around and moving the ball. And Jameis had 300-plus pass yards and 3 touchdowns. Had some big explosive plays. And, I mean, that's what you can expect with Jameis. And he's a gunslinger. But that's what makes him great. And, like I just said, their defense played well, too. It seems like they kind of
finally kicked on.
Yeah, they kicked on, and they stifled the Ravens. And, like, they held Derrick Henry, who's been going off all year, to only 73 yards in this game. And they got huge stops when it mattered against the Ravens' offensive attack. And on the Ravens side, they moved the ball well and had some big plays. And Lamar still had a good game. So don't get it twisted. Lamar had 289 pass yards and 2 touchdowns. And he had 46 on the ground, as he does. But, like, it just, like I said about the Browns defense, and Cletus says, too, like, they woke up and they got big stops when they needed it.
It makes sense for them to do it in this game, though, with a division rival. You know what to expect. You play them twice a year.
Yep, pretty much. And Zay Flowers was a big standout on Baltimore this game. He was 7 for 115. So, like, the Ravens didn't play a bad game. It just, when it mattered, they didn't have enough to keep up. And, like, there were just some big momentum swings in that game. Like, Justin Tucker missed another field goal. I think it was I think it was a 50, a 50-yarder. And
he's 1 for 8 now on the year for
50 plus, yeah. Something like that. And they just Baltimore was bad on third down this game. I think they were 2 for 10, which doesn't help at all whenever you're trying to get some big conversions. But that's also the Browns' defense.
I was about to say, were the Ravens bad or were the Browns good?
Yeah, it was kind of a mix of both. So Browns just were the better team this game all around. And as far as Browns' negatives for this game, which it's hard to say any because they look so much better with Jameis at the helm.
They're clicking.
But
no first overall pick. That's a negative.
Yeah, the big negative, though, I guess, is it worked for Jameis this game.
But it won't.
But Jameis could be Jameis the next game and throw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
But that's just what you get.
That's what the Browns are hoping for.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I want to see Jameis throwing that thing. How can you not love Jameis?
Yeah.
But that's really about the only negative. Like,
yeah,
Browns played a solid game all around.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah,
hell of a game.
Huge game.
He had a bunch of points on my bench.
Yeah,
I picked him up in one league because I knew that he was going to go off with Jameis, and I was like, I'm going to sit him. I'm going to leave Christian Kirk in my flex.
No.
And I'll just let his collarbone break in half while Cedric Tillman gets 30 on my bench.
Yeah. Cedric Tillman, 7 for 99, 2 touchdowns. Jameis ended up throwing, I guess I already said it, but 334, 3 touchdowns. Like, listen to these other top guys where there were top receivers this game, because We won't talk about the rush. We'll just pretend like it didn't happen because it really didn't. Elijah Moore, 8 for 85. Jerry Jeudy, 5 for 79. And Njoku is 5 for 61. And that's their top guys.
Dogs.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about, but when you got Jameis throwing that ball around, he can probably throw it to anybody as long as they can catch.
He might throw it to himself.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see it.
Yeah, the defense, just to put some numbers behind what you guys were talking about, the defense did legitimately come alive. Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith both had 9 pressures apiece in this game.
That's insane.
Neither one of them got a sack, but they had Lamar running for his life, as we've kind of seen.
Yeah, I was
games.
about to say the tackles on the Ravens are terrible.
Yeah. They are a problem.
They're dog shit.
Bad.
Yeah,
and
they've the offense has just kind of been clicking enough, just with enough weapons to kind of cover that up.
Yeah, and they're like, screw it, let's get Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
We don't need pass blockers. True. We need more people to throw to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did pick up Deontay Johnson.
Cannot believe they didn't go out and trade for. I mean, obviously,
tackles are hard to trade for.
It is.
They're valuable.
They're
more.
Sure.
They're
a lot of the good ones are paid.
Yeah, they're paid, and they're a lot harder to trade for than wide receivers because wide receivers are just more expendable. Mm-hmm. They just are.
Yeah. Yep.
More of them on the field.
Yep.
All right. Jags, Packers. God damn it! We were so close, so close. Dude, if Jordan Love wouldn't have gotten hurt in like the third quarter, I think it was, then the Jags would have won this game. I know that for fact. Let me tell you what Jordan Love did. He went 14 for 22, 196, 0 touchdowns, and an interception.
Ooh,
that's a Jordan Love stat line.
That is,
there.
Yeah.
Then Malik Willis is like, hold my beer. I'm going to have to only throw 5 balls for 56 yards and a touchdown and just save this game by myself.
Yep.
This Malik Willis, still undefeated.
You're right, he is.
He
yeah.
can't lose.
Yep.
Jordan Love is the reason that they lose. Josh Jacobs on the ground, animal. 25 carries for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's what they were hoping for when they brought him in.
Yeah.
The workhorse back.
Yeah, he was killing it on the ground. Packers defense, what are we doing? I mean, the corner they have is like the best defensive player in the year.
Jair Alexander.
No. Maybe it's their safety.
Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, pick a game.
McKinney. Yeah, dude. Yeah, every
dude's
game.
Killing it. But other than that, their defensive line is pretty. Like they were good last game, not good this game. They just pick when to play. I guess, but yeah, the Packers probably shouldn't have won this game. Like it came down. I think it came down to a field goal at the end, didn't it? Yeah.
It was a game-winning field. Another game-winning field goal by McManus.
They never get that. No. And they got it twice in a row now.
They're so due for a miss.
Oh my god, they're so due. On the Jags side though, Trevor Lawrence had a pretty good game for him.
Yeah, really.
21 for 32, 308, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Interception's a gimme for him.
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby on the ground, 18 for 78. Pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
He was spreading the ball to literally like everybody. Brian Thomas, Brenton Strange, Christian Kirk until he went down. Parker Washington, like he was just throwing it everywhere. But yeah, the Jags. This is probably the best game they played all year. It just sucks that Malik Willis had to come in on the other side
and ruin it for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if we did if all of you Packers fans who think that Jordan Love is the answer, Colin Cowherd, have seen, this should show you everything that you need to see. I'm fully on board that winning or a team record is not a quarterback stat, but you can see that other quarterbacks can come in and run this offense just as well. Does it look different? Sure, it does look different, but is it just as successful? Maybe even a little bit more successful? Yes, it is. So it's not Jordan Love that is the guy that's running this here. Please give some credit to Matt LaFleur and what he's doing with this team.
You were talking about LSU having a quarterback battle. They should here too.
A&M, yeah. I'm with you, Cletus. I'm the anti-Jordan Love guy here.
Yeah. They should have a QB battle. But hey, Packers are gonna pack.
They paid him too much money now. So
yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next game. We have to talk about it, and the time is now because it happened. But the Texans, they at home They beat the Colts 23-20.
As they do.
And we got to talk about Anthony Richardson right off the top. So let me first say my thoughts, because I thought Anthony Richardson was going to win.
I've been waiting for this.
This is a really sad moment.
This is a sad moment.
Let's take a minute. All right.
Yeah.
Moment of silence before you even get started.
Chirp, 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 chirp.
Moments passed. All right. Let's go.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Is not ready for the NFL yet.
World's smallest
I say
violin.
yet. I'm not giving up on the guy, but he's not ready. It's so clear as day. This guy is not ready for the NFL. He's only 22
He's not
years
in
old.
shape. He's tired.
So, yeah. We'll mention that real
250,
quickly.
jacked.
Yeah.
He's not in shape.
He scrambled around for his life on one play and ran from sideline to sideline, and then he slid that. He got tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Got no gain for it at all, and then it was third down. Then that play caused a third down, and he started walking over the sidelines, tapping his helmet he wanted to
I think he got concussed and forgot he was the quarterback.
He might have, but
he thought he was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But he's just not ready for the NFL right now. And here's Anthony Richardson right now. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this clip, but it's a clip of an old man from the movie The Campaign. It's a Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis movie, but it's an old man standing in his lawn. I don't know if he's I think he might be watering his lawn. Not important. He says, this is Anthony Richardson playing football right now. He says, 90% of the time I have no idea what the I'm talking about. That's like watching Anthony Richardson right now. It's he doesn't have an idea of what he should be doing. He's just kind of going out there and trying to make magic, but he's actually just making shit.
Yeah, he is.
See, the difference is Joe Flacco has no idea what the he's doing either, but he just has the skill.
He does.
Right. He just slings that. He's like Jameis.
Yeah, he is.
They have no idea what they're doing. They just sling it and it works.
It works. I know. And so Anthony Richardson, I think he will get there, but it's not going to be while he's on the Colts. It's not going to be while he's on the Colts. I could see him succeeding a few more years, after a few more years of sitting, a few more years down the road, more learning, more training, and then just getting a fresh start on a new team. Something like Justin Fields. Now, even Justin Fields is a little bit more refined, and I wouldn't say that Justin Fields is succeeding now in this situation.
More
obviously,
than he started out as.
More than he started out as. But this dude is just so physically talented. I honestly don't see how it could not work out for him eventually. He's going to get another shot. I have questions.
You're saying AR to the Steelers?
I would love that.
I would hate that.
I would hate that.
Well, obviously not. Well, right now you would, sure. But as far as
I'd take him as third string or second string.
As far as just
I'd go second string.
The combination of tools that this guy has is unlike anything we've ever seen.
His potential is super high.
It's sky high, but he's not ready right now. But let me just say, Cletus, you're a Joel Embiid guy.
I am.
So trust the process. Is what I'm saying. Let Joe Flacco start. Obviously, this Colts team, I think they are now 4-4. They are 4-4 now. They're still in the race for making a playoff spot.
Yeah, they are.
So honestly,
AFC sucks.
Yeah. I mean, they're AFC.
I said AFC.
Yeah, okay.
The AFC sucks.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I'd throw in Joe Flacco too, because he's proven that he can go in there, get wins,
the playoffs,
move the offense. So I fully
start him in the playoffs. Oh God,
that would be amazing. I want to see Joe Flacco.
No, not Joe. I mean, they start AR in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, no,
that'd be disgusting.
And I don't think he's. It's not like he's never gonna start for the Colts again. I know that probably after this season, they're probably going to put him in a QB battle. They might draft a quarterback in the third or fourth round or something just to kind of bring him into competition. And if it doesn't work, then he's gone. He's off to a different team. And I think he can figure it out because he's so physically gifted. We've never seen anybody like this before. It's not working right now. And I don't blame them at all for benching him for Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco is that guy.
He is.
He's that guy.
We're going to need a Colts Flacco jersey here soon.
Yeah, seriously. We're just going to have to layer him on the wall.
Yeah.
But Anthony Richardson's stat line on the day was 10 completions, over 32 attempts, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Got sacked 5 times.
Like Danny Dimes. Loves it.
Yeah, he loves it, man. He added 45 rushing yards on the ground. I mean, man, it's just the good passes. Obviously, there were only 10 passes completed, but the very few good passes that he has in there are some of he looks like he could be an elite quarterback. It's just that they are very few and far between. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, and it's just not working right now. But that's the Colts right now. Joe Flacco will be starting for probably the foreseeable future, unless he starts like really sucking. But that's not going to happen because he's Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
exactly.
do that.
But
doesn't do that.
For the Texans, they almost lost this game to Anthony Richardson, even though Anthony Richardson completed like 30% of his passes. But this offensive line is so clearly a problem, especially in pass protection for the Texans. C.J. Stroud has been pressured 111 times, which is fourth most in the NFL. But this guy, they're just lucky that he is C.J. Stroud because he's out there.
100%.
He's out there making jump passes like while he's getting hit, like just to try to throw over the defenders. He's absolutely crazy. And now he's lost his top 2 receivers because Stephon Diggs towards ACL in this game. Nico Collins is still in IR, so he's down to Tank Dell. They got Robert Woods. They got second-year guy Xavier Hutchinson. Dalton Schultz still there. But Joe Mixon, I got to give him some credit because I thought he was washed. Joe Mixon is showing more juice than I have seen him have the past 3 seasons with the Bengals.
He's rejuvenated.
Oh, that's nice. But that also helps take some pressure off C.J. Stroud. But this Texans team is scraping and clawing for wins, and they're now up to 6-2.
Yeah.
It's not always pretty wins, but they're winning.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
A win's a win.
A win's a win.
All right. Moving on to Titans, Lions.
Yeah.
God, this Dan Campbell team is so freaking good.
Yeah, they're
so
really
good, man.
The Lions killed the Titans 52-14.
Yeah.
So this game started out really close. It was tied at one point, 14-14.
Yep.
And then the Lions were like, "Hold my beer. I'm going to score 21 points in the second quarter, 17 in the third, and then I don't have to do nothing in the fourth, so I'm just going to take that one off."
Yep.
Best stat line of the day: Jared Goff, 12 for 15 for 85 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, crazy.
That's efficient.
Getting 52 points on the board.
That's efficient.
Yeah, the Lions' run game is seriously a problem.
Oh my gosh,
for other
they're
teams.
so good.
Jahmyr Gibbs only had 11 carries for 127 yards. He averaged 11.5. Then he had a touchdown.
Crazy.
Their line is so good.
Dude.
All those guys on the line, they get downfield and they block, and like all their guys block, but their line is just incredible. They are just moving bodies.
Yeah, dude, Khalif Raymond, my guy, he had a hell of a game.
He did.
He had didn't he have a punt return touchdown?
He
Yeah,
did.
He had a punt return touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
You're right. Yep, you're right.
Kind of like Calvin Austin.
Calvin
III.
Austin. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Calvin Austin III. Sam Laporta, National Tight Ends Day, which we probably should mention because they set a record for most touchdowns in a day by tight ends.
They did. Congratulations.
It's like something ridiculous, like 20.
It was a lot.
Yeah, if you had a bet slip for all of them, I bet if you put $5 on it, you would have won so much damn money.
A lot of money.
But yeah, he was spreading the ball everywhere. Sam Laporta, Khalif Raymond, Brock Wright, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery all had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
The Lions just do whatever they want all the time. And David Montgomery had a passing touchdown. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Titans. Mason Rudolph. Not actually a terrible game.
No.
Not good, obviously.
No.
He had a touchdown and a pick, but 22 for 38, 266. That's way better than Will Levis would have done. Will Levis would have shat his pants.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Threw
the Lions,
5 picks.
He probably would have handed it off to the other team. Literally handed it off.
Yeah. They couldn't get a run game going. Go figure. You're against the Lions. Tony Pollard, 20 for 94. Not bad. Not good.
Not good.
They really couldn't do anything on offense other than Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know.
This guy, you completely forget he exists. Then he has a game like this. 10 receptions, 143 yards. Why? But for what,
That's
though?
what they drafted
Mason
or what
Rudolph
they traded them
was
for.
slinging it.
Yeah. But, yeah, this Lions team, best in the NFL.
Yeah.
They've taken it from the Vikings from me. It was the Vikings. Now it's the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
They're far, they're like 2 tiers above number 2.
Yes.
I don't even know who number 2 would be. Maybe the Bills.
Yeah, I'd probably say Bills. Bills are, I don't even want to say Chiefs.
It's not the
Chiefs.
It's probably Bills.
It's probably the Bills.
I mean, the Ravens, they just lost, so that hurts
Exactly.
them, but they were up there.
Yeah, but they lost to probably the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
Woo! I think they're 2 tiers above the Bills.
I agree.
So, they're juggernauts right now.
They are. They're unstoppable. And since we mentioned tight ends day, I found the stat. 16 touchdowns, 177 catches.
Yeah,
by tight ends.
I think last year the record was either 14 or 12. It was something even.
Something like that. And there was someone, since we talked about betting there a little bit, someone turned a $10 parlay into $185,000 on National Tight Ends Day.
Oh, I saw that. This is completely
9-legger.
irrelevant to football. Well, kind of. This guy has it's like a 13-leg parlay, guessing from women's basketball to 2 different soccer leagues to the Stanley Cup. Baseball, everything. He put $5 on it to win $864,000, and there's only 2 legs left.
Whoa!
And I think he has Lions and Dodgers.
These are
looking good.
These are Super Bowl winners.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like championship winners.
Wow.
So this guy might turn $5 into $864,000.
Whoa! I don't even want to talk about this one anymore. Basically, this one from the tight ends one, the guy had 9-leg. It was a 9-leg parlay. Pitts, Otten, Andrews, and Njoku, Tucker Kraft, Laporta, Kincaid, Kelsey, and Kittle to get a touchdown.
That's all in one day. That's pretty damn crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Pretty good.
All right, so I'm next.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, I'm not next. Your
Cletus
Cardinals.
and his
please.
Cardinals.
Oh, hell yeah. My Cardinals doing what they do. Everyone is Tua's going to win this game. The hell he is.
Nope,
He's
I
still
wrote it
concussed, baby. Dude, yeah, I mean, Tua didn't have a terrible game.
No, it's pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
Ooh. Yeah, he was 28 for 38, 234 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, not bad.
It was okay, but I don't know. Tyreek Hill's just not looking Tyreek-y to me.
You're right. That's a good way to put it.
Without his touchdowns, he doesn't really do too much.
He's got to have some explosive plays.
Yeah,
really.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 72 yards off 6 catches, but it's not what we see out of Tyreek.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, hear me out.
All
He
right.
needs to get arrested for speeding.
You're right.
Speeding, yes,
Yeah.
he does, and then come
Because-
back and get 150 yards.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Think about it.
The pass game, I don't know how the Cardinals did it, but they kept their pass game pretty minimal. And that's their main attack. I mean, Devon Achane, he still had 10 carries for 97 yards just because he's Devon Achane.
Yeah, he's good.
And he had a receiving touchdown. Oh, shit. Devon, he also had 6 catches for 50 yards and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much their entire offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
But that's not really quite enough
No.
whenever you're against Kyler Murray.
He had a great game.
26 attempts, or 36 attempts, 26 completions, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Conner, dog shit.
Yeah.
Trey Benson needs to get more than 1 snap a game. Yeah. Trey Benson had 1 carry for 10 yards.
Yeah.
He averaged
you're right.
10 yards per carry.
You're
baby.
right. He did have a really good
Compared
yards
to
per carry.
compared to James Conner's 2.6 yards per carry.
You're right.
But yeah, Trey McBride, hell of a game.
Yeah.
9
good.
catches, 124 yards. Marvin Harrison, he just has these little spurt games. He
does.
Every 2 games or so, he'll have a game like this where he has 6 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
It's just what he do.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Wilson, he's also kind of becoming a formidable wide receiver too, honestly.
Yeah, he's good.
5 catches, 31 and 1. But yeah, this Cardinals team, their defense played well enough for their offense to do the work.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. I mean, they won on a game-winning field goal. It was like a kind of a chip shot. It was like 38 yards or something like
short.
that. But
Ish.
yeah, I was extremely happy to see this. I don't really have anything else to say about it, honestly. It's just Cardinals are going to Cardinal. It's just how it is.
Don't know what to make of this team. It's they're so hit or miss. Sometimes Kyler Murray throws for 130 yards. Next game, he's throwing for 300. Looking great. Now, I do have questions.
Oh, shoot. COD.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
He survived the...
He survived the first
It's
week.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that it's kind of shitty. I heard there's there's
so he just said, nah.
yeah, there's really shitty skill-based matchmaking in it. So if you have a really good game, then your next game's gonna be ass because you're gonna be against super good people, and it's just dog shit to play. So he might be playing
be
Madden
okay.
instead.
Jonathan Gannon is he's in the ears of the makers of the Call of Duty game.
Yeah,
he's
like,
you better
make this shit.
Yeah, we cannot make this good.
Make it unplayable.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about an upset on the week, baby. Patriots at home beat the Jets 25-22.
Crazy.
Wow. Let me start off with the Patriots. This is obviously not a sign of things to come. The Patriots are not going to win many more games, if any, the rest of the season. This is more a sign that the Jets are down real bad.
They are.
And Aaron Rodgers didn't even play a terrible game. He went 17 for 28, 233 yards and 2 touchdowns. Was only sacked once. Now sometimes he's like running for his life and just trying to get rid of the ball before he gets sacked because he's 40 years old, coming off an Achilles injury. Breece Hall had a solid game, 16 carries for 80 yards and no touchdown. Braylon Allen scarfed away his touchdown from him. But Devontae Adams was kind of shut down a little bit in this game. Christian Gonzalez had one hell of a game.
Certainly did.
He was covering Devontae Adams for a lot of it. Now he's still got 4 catches for 54 yards, but that's not too great. But this allowed Garrett Wilson to pop off for a 113-yard game. He was just making incredible catches left and right. That was a really good game from Garrett Wilson. But let's talk about the Jets defense, because you can't just allow 25 points to a Patriots team that lost Drake May in the first half, and then Jacoby Brissett did most of this then. I know that Drake May had a rushing touchdown in there. Drake May looked he's been looking pretty darn good. He might actually play this next week. But anyways,
you guys were wrong about him.
I never said. I said
Carson
he was
was
gonna be fine.
definitely wrong about him.
Yeah, Carson said he's going to be terrible. I said he's going to be fine, not great, fine. But we have to talk about the defense is definitely worse since the firing of Robert Saleh. Like, I think the
it wasn't
the
great
vibes.
when he was there.
I
agree. It hasn't been good at all.
The vibes at least are like worse.
Vibes are not good, and that's probably a combo of everything going on there, including their record and just not winning.
Both these teams are 2-6 now. Patriots and Jets are now 2-6. Jets on a season that they went all in, still are trying to go all in. It's kind of backfiring in their face because the defense is not helping them at all. What's held them together the past few years since Robert Saleh was there, and basically making Zach Wilson like. Zach just put up 10 points and we'll win the game. And Zach Wilson's like, I'll give you 3. Now Aaron Rodgers, even if he has been playing kind of streaky, hit or miss a lot of times, but whenever he's on, and he can put up decent numbers, I would say, at least league average numbers. Like I said, he's pretty good in this game, but to lose to the Patriots and give up 25 points is not acceptable.
Yeah,
this team
tough.
Cannot provide any pressure against any opposing quarterbacks. It's not good right now. Let me just say, I got to talk about Aaron Rodgers just because it's funny. I've been hating on Aaron Rodgers a little bit, just because I don't know. I just don't think he's the same guy as he was back in the day. Obviously he's 40 years old, coming off his Achilles injury. But after the game, somebody asked him about like what the vibes are about. Like, is it like it's pretty dark? Like being a Jets fan, being on the Jets team right now. And Aaron Rodgers said, "Yeah, I've been in the darkness. You've got to go in there and make peace with it."
Yeah, I love it. That was
his quote.
Yeah. I love it. Good quote.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Rodgers, this came out a few days ago. Aaron Rodgers says Thomas Morstead, who is the Jets punter,
dog.
He introduced,
for years.
Morstead introduced Rodgers to the quote fountain of youth.
Yeah,
nice. It's cayenne pepper and water. Rodgers says he's been, quote, gassing up with it and feels great physically this week.
That's awesome. Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
He's been kind of playing banged up. I mean, once again, 40 years old. Any hit you take, it's going to be like a little bit, it's going to ding you a little bit. So he's been kind of playing injured. But can you throw Aaron Rodgers out there on defense? Would it be any better? They're missing like a ton of pieces. I got to go pull up their injury report they play on Thursday Night Football. But they're missing a ton of just key guys
extensive.
on this team. Yeah, it's a lot. Let me just read down through it because I have it right here. So Ashton Davis, one of their safeties, out. Tony Adams, another safety, out. Alan Lazard, out. C.J. Mosley, out. Elijah Vera Tucker, one of their guards, out.
Yeah, that's
this team is banged up, and it's not looking like it's going to be getting any better. I don't know what we can start talking about what Aaron Rodgers is going to do next year, if he's going to retire or what we think he's going to do. But for the time being, they're kind of stuck in this disgusting bowl that they're I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know either.
Stuck in shit.
Really
Did you see the stat of like no teams ever lost like this? Basically, if the team, how did that go? They don't allow more than 250 total yards. They don't turn over the ball at all, and something else. Pretty much the record of that is 750-1, and the 1 is the Jets' lost rate.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Jets football. That's what they do.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah. But I guess good win for the Patriots, but bad for their draft pick.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, like I said, they might not win another game the whole rest of the season.
Yeah, good chance.
We'll talk about a team that will win lots of games the rest of the season.
No,
that is my Falcons. They're now 4-0 in the division after going into Tampa Bay. They beat the Buccaneers 31-26. Let's talk about the Falcons first because I just got to say it. Kirk Cousins hates blowing teams out. He's just like too nice. He doesn't want to make any win too easy. But honestly, whenever it comes to close games, when it all may come down to one drive, I'd say, in my book, Kirk Cousins is a top 3 quarterback in those situations. I'd put him there with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. When push comes to shove,
Stafford.
Matt Stafford would be like the other one that I would throw in. I was like debating, I was like, okay, I definitely think Kirk Cousins is top 3 because he's played in so many tight games. We all remember that season in Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell's first season. They were like 11-0 in one-score games.
Yeah, they were.
Like, he just knows how to win these close games. And I know whenever push comes to shove in tight situations, I can trust Kirk Cousins to go out there, and he's going to do at least his job. He's going to put us in winning positions time after time. And although I don't know why he just can't, play well the whole game and just like blow him out of the water, Lions style. But I guess that's a win's a win. They're 4-0 now, and honestly, it was a great game from Kirk Cousins. 23 of 29, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kyle Pitts on National Tight End Day, 4 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them a 49-yard touchdown where and then another touchdown where he basically dropped the ball right before the goal line.
He was also on my bench.
Oh, nice.
In the same league.
Nice.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ouch, Cletus. But I guess for the Buccaneers, I got to give them some credit because they're without Mike Evans until after Week 11. Chris Godwin is done for the year. This is just. I don't think they're
trying to keep going.
They are. They are. But
they're pulling a trailer with 2 flat tires.
They are. But Baker's doing everything he can. Yeah. Let me just say, my takeaway for the Buccaneers, I don't think their season is over. They're 4-4 right now, second in the division. But this is just a team full of fighters. It's so much fun watching them play because they are going hard every single play. Baker Mayfield, we know how much of a dog he is. We've been talking about him a lot this year. Bucky Irving at 192 pounds. This guy had 9 carries for 44 yards. It's actually crazy because that's the exact same stat line he put up last time they played the Falcons. 9 carries for 44 yards. Anyways, in this game, 9 carries. This dude he forced 7 missed tackles on 9 carries. Absolutely crazy for Bucky Irving. That guy's a dog as well. Cade Otton he's getting lit up on every single play. He stepped in. 9 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game from Baker Mayfield on 10 targets. It was an absolutely great game from Cade Otton. He's one of those tight ends that thinks he can hurdle everybody, so sometimes it blows up in his face. But Cade Otton, he stepped up. And so their number 1 pass rusher, another dog, Yaya Diaby. He has 31 pressures on the season. He's out there number 0. That's more than double everybody else on the team. He's the one guy who is holding this pass rush together. Levante David at almost 35 years old, their starting linebacker, basically an all-pro year after year, still playing very well. Antoine Winfield Jr. almost stripped Kyle Pitts of that touchdown. Just a guy who never quits on a play. And then the one guy who I think is going to step up in this wide receiver core with these guys that they have missing, I don't think it's McMillan. I don't think it's their draft pick McMillan. I think it is Raheem Jarrett. Raheem Jarrett in this game. He had some just amazing catches at big times. I know he only had 3 targets, 3 catches, 58 yards. He was actually their second leading receiver in this game in terms of receiving yards. But he just made catches and then got popped. Just got absolutely popped in this game. And it was just a great game for Raheem Jarrett. I think he actually just got activated off of IR before this game. But I think he's definitely earned some more snaps. But honestly, I love watching this Buccaneers team. Even though I was rooting for the Falcons in this game, this Buccaneers team is fun to watch because they stay in it. And Young Hui Koo missed like a 40-yard field goal somewhere around there that could have like pushed the lead to 8. And then the Buccaneers got the ball back, which kind of made it a little bit scary. But the Falcons were able to shut them down this last drive. This Falcons defense is absolutely carried by their secondary because nobody else on the defense can do anything. It's all Justin Simmons, AJ Terrell, and Jesse Bates is amazing.
He's a dog.
He might be best. These might have been like 2 of the best safeties in the NFL right now going head-to-head. Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jesse Bates. But these Buccaneers are not out of it, I would say.
No, not at all.
They might not win the division, in my opinion, because now the Falcons have beat them twice, so they have the tiebreaker. But I think that they could definitely sneak into a wild card. They're not out of it at all. This team is fighters, but my Falcons, baby, 4-0 now, 5-3. Let's go.
They look good.
Yeah.
Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. Eagles' first win against the Bengals since the year 2000. That's a pretty crazy stat.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's wild. But Eagles, this is probably the best they've looked maybe all this year and maybe since the early last year when they were hot. They just played a great complete game and just dominated the end of the game. Towards the end of it, they just took off and closed the game out for sure. The Eagles just all game, they always seem to have an answer to the Bengals. They forced a fumble and an interception, and they just won the trenches game, which I think was huge. I mean, they were winning the trenches all game long, and their stars played big games. Barkley was 22 for 108 on the ground, and then on the receiving side, Devonta Smith was 6 for 85 and a touchdown. A.J. Brown was 5 for 84. So, all their stars had big games. And Hurts was playing like MVP level Hurts. His stats aren't wild, but just the plays he was making when he needed to, he didn't lose the ball, and he just kept their team in a position to just dominate. And this is the best the Eagles have looked and most complete they've looked for a long time, or seemingly a long time. And if they keep playing like this, it's going to be hard to compete with them for sure. On the Bengals side, Burrow didn't play really a bad game at all. He threw for 234 yards on 37 attempts. He had 26 completions, and he threw a touchdown and a pick. But they just didn't have really anyone with any explosive, huge games. Jamar Chase was held to 54 yards. Their rushing game was non-existent. Really non-existent. Chase Brown, 12 for 32. He had a touchdown, but 12 for 32. That ain't going to do the job. And Gesicki was their leading receiver this game. He was 7 for 73. So their big-name pass catchers couldn't get going this game. Not as good as they normally have been. But Bengals, anytime they seem to score, like I already said, the Eagles just had an answer. So it killed any momentum that the Bengals were trying to gain. And they were seems like the Bengals, further the game went, the more they were limping. They were losing steam as the game went down, just getting beat down by the Eagles lines. And the defense just ended up basically completely giving way to the Eagles at the end of the game. Couldn't stop a thing. And yeah, it was just a pretty dominating win by a good-looking Eagles team this week.
All right, we're moving on to Saints-Chargers, where the Saints are dog shit.
Yeah.
Final score was 26-8 Chargers. We'll start with the Saints here. Dog shit. Terrible.
Not good.
Not good. Yeah, that might be the right way to put it.
Not good at the football right now.
Did Rattler get hurt? They just benched him. I thought so. Yeah, they brought in Jake Haener. Is that how you say his name?
Yep.
Yeah. Haener actually didn't look too bad. He was 9 for 17 for 122. Not terrible.
No.
But, yeah, Rattler, he was 12 for 24, which doesn't sound terrible for a backup quarterback, but he was, making dumb decisions, scrambling whenever he didn't necessarily have to scramble and could have just made the pass, or just missing checkdowns and just doing dumb shit.
Yep.
And yeah, he wasn't very good in this game. They didn't score a single touchdown. You might think, oh, they scored 8 points. They probably got a touchdown and 2-point conversion. No, they had a safety and 2 field goals.
Yep.
So dumb. But
Yep.
yeah, it was actually interesting to turn into this game whenever the score was 2-3. And you're like, oh, I'm watching soccer.
Yeah.
Kamara, they actually held him. They didn't really hold him, but they just didn't use him enough. He only had 10 carries for 67 yards. I mean, yeah, you're behind, but what quarterbacks do you have?
Yeah.
Taysom Hill's probably your best one.
Yeah. They didn't try
really.
him.
No, they only threw with him once.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just don't know what they're doing right now. Chris Olave had a good game. Alvin Kamara actually had a good receiving game too, but that's just because of checkdowns, because the quarterbacks don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, they just, and then their defense, it's okay, but like there's a lot of points for the Chargers. Like, they don't score this much.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Nope.
But Justin Herbert, hell of a game.
Yeah, really.
20 for 32, 279. I think that's a season high, and 2 touchdowns. They were actually throwing it today.
They were.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's probably because the Saints are so beat up and their defense is just dog shit. Lad McConkey, 6 for 111 and 2 touchdowns.
Dog.
Dog. Jalen Reagor, 2 catches for 35 yards. Dog. Joshua Palmer, 2 catches for 72 yards. Dog.
Definitely.
They were spreading the ball everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Herbert was playing good.
yeah, and then J.K. Dobbins on the ground, not really that good. 17 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty much why they had to throw it, because the Saints' defense, their defensive line's pretty much the only thing that keeps them in any games.
Yeah.
Because their secondary's so hurt, or just bad.
Yeah. Both.
And, yeah, both. But, yeah, the Chargers, this is a perfect Jim Harbaugh football game. Like, there's no other way to it. This is what they, other than having to pass the ball, he doesn't like doing that.
No. Yeah. But holding them to single digits.
But yeah, holding them to single digits and then scoring more than 20, that's all he would ever want.
100%. The Buffalo Bills went to Seattle and put a whooping on them, 31-10. The Seahawks, really, Geno didn't look horrible. He didn't play that bad of a game, but he threw no touchdowns. He threw a pick, and I guess that's about all you can take away as far as good things that Seattle did, was Geno didn't look horrible and wasn't the reason they lost the game. The reason they lost the game is because the Bills were dominant, and Seattle had no rush game at all.
Poor K9.
Yeah, K9 was stifled. 9 carries, okay, 12 yards.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that was bad. So Geno was their leading rusher with 16 yards. So, yeah, they just got dominated all game long. Bills were just dominant all around. They scored in every quarter, and they had an incredible run game this game. James Cook was 17 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. And then they had pass game was good, too. And this was kind of more working on our thoughts of, like, all right, you bring in a guy like Amari Cooper that's going to draw attention, and then, boom, you got your guys, Khalil Shakir, he going for 9 for 107, and Keon Coleman going 5 for 70. I mean, that's huge for a team, and huge for a team. And,
it's huge.
And then even the tight ends, they're able to get both tight ends going now. Like, they're able to early, and even last year because Knox was hurt, but they really were only able to throw to Kincaid. Like, he was a standout. Like, he's a star. He's a stud. Don't get us wrong. But, like, Knox is still a
I feel
very
like
good
everyone
tight end.
forgets what Dawson Knox did 2 years ago.
He was incredible.
Kincaid was even there. Dawson Knox was, like, top 5 tight ends in the league.
Yeah, a lot of us were confused when they took Kincaid. Because they're like,
I was
man.
confused.
Yeah, like, we got Dawson Knox in Buffalo. Like, I don't know. But it's working out now.
Yeah.
Both tight ends, pretty good game. Dawson Knox, 2 for 50, and Kincaid was 4 for 31. So, like, he was just spreading. Josh Allen was just spreading the ball everywhere. He had another good game. He threw a pick, which I think is actually his first one this year.
First one all year.
Yeah, which is surprising. So I'll take that all day. He threw 24 for 34, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that pick. But, like, he only took 1 sack all game because Seattle's rush isn't great. But, yeah, Buffalo was dominant, and what really I think set the bar for them to win this much is Buffalo's defense had a couple stops that were within like the 5 or 10, and that really just killed Seattle. And they dominated time of possession. Time of possession game was pretty crazy, but Bills had the ball for about 38 minutes, and Seattle had it for about 22. So that you can't win games like that.
16-minute difference.
Yeah, that's huge. Bills really no negatives. They just played a great game all around. Seattle's just garbage. So that they just could not get anything going this game at all.
You say they're garbage now, and then next week they're going
to
score like 42 for no reason.
Yeah, they just beat the pants off the Falcons last week.
Yeah, so
because they suck.
This is another one of those teams that makes no sense. The Seahawks.
Yes.
Bills are still top shelf.
Yeah.
But not very top shelf.
That's the Lions.
That's the Lions. The Lions are like, how should I put this? If we're talking shelves here, Lions are like the wall that's holding the shelf. Like they're just holding everything and just beating everyone up, and then you're like, all right, we got shelves.
Yeah,
we got tiers. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We're going to move on to the game of the week. Bears Commanders. It was only the game of the week for the last 2 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
But
it was crazy.
Yeah. So everyone's seen the Hail Mary at the end of the game for the Commanders.
65-yard bomb.
Yeah, for the Commanders to beat the Bears. Noah, I think it was Noah Brown that caught it, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, he was just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows it was a fluke. There was probably 2 holding penalties that you could have called on that game, but I could care less because I hate the Bears. Not the Bears. I hate Caleb Williams.
There you go.
And this was a great game for me. Caleb Williams only had 10. He only had 10 completions on 24 attempts and 131 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. He was just bad.
That's bad.
I mean, he did run for 47, but meh. I mean, this Washington defense had a pretty damn good game. Like, they're mid. They're mid right now. I think I said that last week, but
they keep like creeping up every week.
They do.
I think because like we thought they were going to be bad, and then they weren't bad, and then they're like, all right, they're still pretty.
They're settling in.
They're definitely in the mid category for sure.
They're nice and mid.
They are
just where
they
like
just like we like them.
Yeah.
Our guy Jerzon Newton came in for the injured. The injured Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen. Yeah.
And this guy in this game, Jerzon Newton had 1 sack and 7 pressures. He led the team in those categories. Yeah, hell of a game for rookie Jerzon Newton, our D tackle one. Sorry, Cleveland.
Way to go, buddy.
Well, pretty much just the Bears couldn't get anything going on offense other than DeAndre Swift. He was their only offense, pretty much. 18 carries, 129 yards. So, like I said, Washington's mid. Where they're bad is with the run game. Where they're good is with the pass game. So that makes you mid.
Sure. Yep.
But, that was their only offense, pretty much, is the run game, and they couldn't do nothing with it. They get, okay far downfield, then kick a field goal.
Yeah.
It was not a good game. On the other hand, Jaden Daniels, my God, he's good.
He's good.
It's ridiculous. He went 21 for 38 for 326 yards and an obvious touchdown at the end of the game. That was his only touchdown.
Yeah,
and he was kind of hobbled this game. We'd assume. I mean, he played. He's definitely hurting.
He was getting wrapped up on the sidelines, the
ribs.
He took a few hits.
He was in pain the entire game, and you could tell.
Yeah,
he still threw a 60-yard bomb. At the end of the game,
it was an easy 65
such an arm
yards.
on that guy.
Yeah.
But Brian Robinson had an okay game, 16 carries, 65 yards. Jaden Daniels was still running, even though his ribs were broken. They were cracking with each step. You could actually hear it if you listen real close.
Yep.
But, he had 52 on the ground. So did Austin Eckler. Terry McLaurin, great game. 5 catches, 125 yards. But this offense couldn't do anything against this Bears defense. This Bears defense
still very
is
good.
Gonna keep winning them games.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just what's gonna happen. People are gonna say Caleb Williams is so good, and then no, it's their defense, their defense, their defense. They just kill you, and they were doing that until they started celebrating to the fans, and they got distracted, and then they hit the ball up in the air and threw a touchdown. That's pretty much all this game was, because other than that, it was just field goal central.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
all
much.
it was.
Yep.
Boring ass game until the last 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. You nailed it right on the head with that one. Broncos, they keep winning.
Bo Nix, baby.
They beat the Panthers 28-14.
Best rookie quarterback in October.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Honestly, he is, yeah.
It is the Panthers, but
it is the Panthers, so we got to kind of relax a little bit. Broncos have kind of been beating up on some bad teams.
Yeah.
Like they're now 5-3, second in the AFC West. The teams that they beat are the Panthers, Saints, Raiders, Jets. Buccaneers wasn't impressive.
That was impressive.
But overall, yeah, we'll talk about the Broncos first. I am excited, honestly. Like I just said, beat bad teams, okay. But I'm excited to watch them play some good teams here for the rest of their schedule, because you can just see that this whole team is buying in right now. They're believing in Bo Nix. Like, Bo Nix is an easy guy to root for. I don't know. He's just out there. He's the good-looking quarterback. He's out there. He's making plays with his legs almost every single game, laying his body on the line. For some reason, he likes to lower his shoulder into people, Anthony Richardson style. Dumb, but it's been working for him.
Yeah.
And it just kind of shows the rest of the team, like, yeah, I'm putting in my work. Like, you guys should be too. We want to win games.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's
That's
working.
what it is. Yep.
It is working. So I am excited whenever they're going to be playing these better teams. But in this game, I got to say his stat line, because it's still good. It's still against a professional team.
He still did it. Yeah. It's still the NFL.
28 for 37, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and then he added another rushing touchdown on the ground. Javonte Williams still sucks. He went 17 carries for 44 yards. He had one good game after we said he sucked. Yeah. And now he's back
now
to
we're going
sucking.
to keep saying it.
Yeah, now he sucks. Now he's going to have a good game next week. But
hopefully.
Cortland Sutton came back to life after getting like 0 targets last game. This game he had 11 targets for 8 catches and 100 yards. And yeah, Bo Nix was just making crazy throws left and right. Adam Troutman had a crazy one-handed touchdown catch in this game.
Yeah.
And for the Panthers, Bryce Young is going to remain the starter. That just came out shortly before we were starting this recording. But Bryce Young is hoping with all of his might that the Panthers scouting staff thinks that the 2025 quarterback draft class is bad, because the Panthers they're probably going to have the number 1 pick, and I don't think Bryce Young is going to get another big chance with this Panthers team, unless he like really turns it on the rest of the season. This is probably it for him, unless he can turn the team around and win some games. Now, they're not giving him a whole lot of help. They just traded away his number 1 wide receiver in Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. But because his number 1 receiver right now has been Jalen Coker, an undrafted free agent rookie out of Holy Cross. So now he had a solid game. 4 catches.
If you can play, you can play.
Yeah, I mean, 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. But, I mean, it's Bryce Young. Now, I know I said that, like, Anthony Richardson is probably going to get another shot. He's just, like, it's obviously you just look at the two guys, which guy has the body, which guy doesn't have the body. Like, Bryce Young obviously has the brains. He's the more proven prospect coming out. But, I mean, Bryce Young, if he blows this, I could definitely see them drafting a quarterback first round.
There's a good chance. That's how the Panthers work, it seems like.
Yeah, I feel like one of the reasons why Bryce Young is not getting benched again is because, I mean, he did throw 2 touchdowns in this game. His stat line wasn't terrible, but he still threw 2 picks, 24 for 37, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. It wasn't great, wasn't terrible. It was just kind of, I've seen worse, I've seen better. But Andy Dalton hasn't been playing well either, so that's why they're not benching him again. But Panthers are, like I said, they're going to have the number 1 pick. It's not good.
Definitely looks that way.
All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
You skipped over the Chiefs and Raiders.
I see what you're trying to do. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'll breeze over it. The Kansas City Chiefs went to Vegas and beat the Raiders 27-20. The Raiders started out playing the Chiefs like they do. They kept it close, and they always did.
Scripted.
And
scripted.
It was bad, because the Raiders had a lot of chances to at least get back into the game or keep it close, but that Steve Spagnuolo defense, man, it's still the Steve Spagnuolo defense that we all know and love or hate. Yeah. So they just had the Chiefs defense had some great stops on the goal line and just completely killed the Las Vegas rushing game. It's gross. Alexander Madison had 14 carries for 15 yards. And, yeah, we don't even talk about any of the rest of it because there wasn't any more of it. Minshew, honestly not. Like,
good game.
Yeah, honestly a good game. He's back. 24 for 30, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Against a good defense.
Yeah, against a good defense. So, really, he didn't play bad.
Sacked 5 times, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But, like, so really, Minshew didn't play bad. Of course, Brock Bowers had a decent game still, but Brock Bowers only had 58 yards, which is low for him. And he only had 5 targets, which is like, come on, buddy, we got to get it to Brock Bowers more. But the defense, the Las Vegas defense, did have some decent plays and like some decent pressures on the quarterback, but it just wasn't enough when you got Patrick Mahomes and a Travis Kelce that decided to show back up and have a huge game. 10 for 90 was Travis Kelce with a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. Pat Mahomes was 27 for 38, 262, 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick this game. So
crazy.
That's yeah. And then they just ran Kareem Hunt into the ground. Not great though. 21 for 59, touchdown. But really, just if you were watching the game, at least to me, it felt like Las Vegas lost the game instead of like Las Vegas lost the game and the Kansas City Chiefs defense won them the game. Other than that, Travis Kelce showing back up definitely helped, but that's kind of the end of it, is that the Kansas City defense is still great, and the Las Vegas didn't look bad. They honestly, they lost, but they're looking on the up and up right now, except for their rushing game. We won't talk about that because it's garbage.
The D-Hop trade's looking like what we expected it was.
Nothing.
It's not much.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the
like
first week.
Yeah, it was his first week. He might get like 2 more catches from now on, but that's about it.
Yeah. So that's about it for that game. The Raiders got close, but they couldn't get it into the end zone to stay in the game and ended up losing.
Yeah, once again,
and the Chiefs continue to be undefeated.
They are, and they're letting teams in games.
Yep.
Like, they're not blowing anybody out, but they're winning.
But the Chiefs is still the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Moving on.
Cowboys 49ers. The final score was 24-30. 49ers win, but the real final score was 30-24 or 30-10 because Dak Prescott is the king of garbage time points. Like,
you're right, he does seem.
They
that
scored
way.
14 points in the fourth quarter, while down by 27. Unnecessarily. Does not matter. Dak Prescott, the only reason he has this contract is because I think Jerry Jones only looks at stats.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Instead of actually watching the game because he's busy drinking his margarita or whatever he does up there. And yeah, Dak, he had a terrible game up until then. He went 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions for only 243 yards. It was not a good game until the fourth quarter. Whenever the fourth quarter comes out and he's like, okay, no one's really watching this game. It's kind of a blowout. And then he just starts playing great. And then once he catches up and gets it within like 1 or 2 scores, he'd be like, okay, I'm going to start doing ass again. Mm-hmm. Make sure that we just don't win this game. We can't win. We got the 2016 powerhouses in Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this team they're so cooked. They pretty much only scored 10 points. The 49ers, though, they're back. They are back. Brock Purdy, pretty good game.
Yeah, for sure.
18 for 26, 260 yards and a touchdown. Even though Debo, did he get hurt?
Yeah, he did again.
Yeah, I thought
again.
so.
Again.
Debo got hurt, but Isaac Guerrero. I mean,
Louisville.
he had a pretty good game. 14 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he looked good.
Brock Purdy also rushed for 56 yards and a touchdown. Their rushing game was okay. They were okay.
They held in there.
But also, for no reason, Ricky Pearsall had a little screen there for 39 yards just because.
He did that in college, too.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, a few end arounds that he could just take to the house.
George Kittle, tight ends day.
Yep.
I think he was the one that invented the day.
Yep.
So
he went off.
He was like, I'm just going to go off on this day and this day only.
No,
he has had 2 other good games.
He's had some other ones.
6 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown. Absolute dog.
Yeah, he's good.
Debo was playing well before he got hurt. 4 catches, 71 yards. It was pretty much they just did whatever they wanted. Like they didn't have to do much.
No,
and
not really.
Their defense was killing the Cowboys up until Dak Prescott became the second coming of Joe Montana. But yeah, this 49ers team they just handled them the entire game, and that's pretty much all that happened. It was kind of a boring Sunday night game.
Yeah, it kind of was. What wasn't a boring game, at least not to us Pittsburgh area folk. The Yinzers. The Pittsburgh Steelers at home won against the New York Giants 26-18, moving to 6-2, just absolutely dominating
Top 5
right now.
Team in the NFL, baby.
Let's go. I mean, Steelers look good still. The Giants look like garbage, though. They look like hot garbage. Danny Dimes only threw 1 pick this game, but no touchdowns. He still loves getting sacked, especially by T.J. Watt and Highsmith.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. His offensive line was absolutely letting him get killed.
Whoa, boy, the Giants' offensive line. They were just
It was only their left tackle. I think he's a rookie.
And I don't even think he's a rookie. He just joined the team off this 49ers practice squad.
Yeah.
For people that don't watch the Steelers all the time, if you ever see T.J. Watt going to the left side, it's like they got a weakness over there for sure because T.J. Watt's normally strictly right, normally going against the right guard probably 90% of the time it feels like. But they had him going over there, and they were just letting – if they would help –
They were bullying that left tackle. They were bullying him.
Because they would have to help on TJ's side, obviously, and then you got Highsmith, who was absolutely teeing off.
Yeah.
Like, he ended up with a couple sacks this game, a huge game, but he was getting pressure all game long. I mean, he smeared Danny Dimes a couple of times and got called for it once.
I don't even think it was him. I think it was actually TJ that did the roughing the passer, but they called it on Highsmith.
Yeah, they called it on
sandwiched.
Yeah, they sandwiched him.
I mean, Steelers' defense was just teeing off. At least the line, they were just teeing off and had an incredible game this game. But on the Giants side, like I talk about the Steelers like they did incredible, which they did do a really good game. But the Steelers admittedly were struggling downfield with big plays and like letting a few big plays go through. Like
Tracy's run.
Tracy Jr. had a big run or two.
Yeah,
I mean, Tyrone Tracy Jr. ended with 20 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's not Steelers defense. Like they can't be letting that up to Tyrone Tracy Jr. if they want a shot later down the road at the big teams. But it is what it is. They won the game, and also Slayton. They let up some huge plays to Darius Slayton downfield.
Minka also killed him on one of the plays.
Goodness, I thought Minka killed him.
Yeah.
But then he came back
such good defense.
and then had a big throw after that, big catch. Yeah. Darius Slayton ended up 4 for 108. So really, Giants stayed in it fairly well. Well, for the first half, going into the first half, it was all field goals by everyone. 9-9. Going into halftime, sorry, and it was all tied up. But after that, it was all Pittsburgh. And
it started with Calvin Austin, baby.
Calvin Austin had a huge game for the Steelers this game. He had a receiving touchdown. He was 3 for 54. And also, Danny Smith's special teams doing it again. Yeah. Calvin Austin with a punt return touchdown.
You see the clip of him working out in the weight room that they showed during the game?
Yes, that was awesome. Yeah, I love Danny Smith. But, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers special teams, they just continue to do it. And the Steelers in general, Russ looks good. Like, he looks like I don't even know where to rank him.
12.
Yeah, I was going to say top 12 to 15. Like, he looks like a true vet right now. He's not prime Russ, obviously, but he's still got the touch on his passes. He knows when to, like, get that nice little drop-in ball.
That moon is so perfect for George Pickens.
So pretty.
That prediction for me at the beginning of the year for Russ and George Pickens connection, it's just hitting so good right now.
It looks good, and George Pickens can still catch everything, whether he gets each foot inbounds.
No, just one twice.
Yeah, just one.
It was such a good point by Jason Kelsey at the halftime report, though. Like, so he said, so if someone catches the ball and decides to hop on 1 foot all the way into the end zone for a 30-yard touchdown, it would not be considered a catch.
That was honestly the first thing I thought of.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a really weird rule, but either way,
it's a stupid rule.
It is, But either, like I was saying, George Pickens can still catch everything. He's by far and away the best jump ball receiver, best contested catch receiver in the league. Not even close. And Russ just helps him out.
Yeah.
Should have had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. But like I was saying, so that we can talk about that too. The Steelers, it looks like a close game. They kind of kept the Giants in, but I'm not worried at all because they got 2 touchdowns called back this game.
Damn it, Broderick.
Yeah, that line's kind of struggling. But it shows that Russ can still get out and move well. Like, he's still getting out and moving well and making throws on the run. Najee's still running great, even with that kind of...
Jorts.
Yeah, Najee's got jorts on now.
He's upgraded.
Steelers' offensive line really confuses me. They can run block seemingly very well. But whenever they need to pass block is when things seem to break down. Which I guess that's probably not that weird. That happens to some teams. It's easier to run block, probably.
It's probably because they're better at forcing forward momentum compared to like
holding.
There's a technique to pass blocking.
Yeah.
Whereas run blocking, all you have to do is shove
Move
the guy.
Yeah. Well, I got to give some credit to, sorry, not to cut you off.
Go for
Najee Harris has been on a tear these last 3 games. Rushed for 106, 102, and 114, and it directly lines up with whenever Jalen Warren came back. Najee has been, before, whenever Jalen Warren was out, he rushed for, this is like yards per carry average without Jalen Warren, 3.5, 4.1, 3.9, 1.5, 3.0. Jalen Warren comes back, 7.6, 4.9, 6.0. We've kind of seen since Najee's rookie year, they just fed him the ball his rookie year. And he wasn't very efficient.
Yeah.
Once they started using Jalen Warren, we're seeing that he is breaking off 100-yard games and looking faster.
I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense.
You just take some off his plate.
Yeah. But...
Ask him to do less.
Yeah.
I guess
he's fresher.
He just likes to... He doesn't have a big gas tank. They just have to keep refilling it.
Yeah.
It's like a smart car.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But as far as the Steelers side, too.
Like a smart car, too.
A little bit. A couple more things on the Steelers side. Highsmith and Watt are still the best pass rush duo in the league.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Both sides of the ball. They're still incredible. Both had 2 sacks. Watt had that strip sack fumble recovery to pretty much seal the game for him. And then another big thing on defense, Beanie Bishop. Another interception, baby. He's still doing it. The Steelers just look good all around. It's just those few big play let-ups that are probably concerning in their secondary primarily. But I guess that's going to happen in the NFL. These guys are studs on the other side, too. They're paid. They're NFL guys. But the Giants side, their run defense and their defense in general, mostly between the 20s because they did bow up and stop the Steelers a few times in the red zone.
Yeah.
But they stink.
Yeah.
They stink. And Daniel Jones still loves getting sacked, like I said. And Giants just had too many penalties. Giants ended up with 11 penalties, and the Steelers had 5. So that's not going to help. But Giants still don't look good. They don't look bottom of the barrel, but they're on the lower shelves for sure.
Honestly, Daniel Jones had kind of a bounce back game. I
know he did. Relatively, he did. He threw 24 for 38, 264 yards, no touchdowns. He had 1 pick, but really, he looked pretty good.
Yeah. He did until because he was getting smacked play after play after play. Then he just it finally got to him in the 4th quarter. He just took sack after sack, and it just kind of
his eyes slowly started widening more.
But all in all, he didn't play.
He really didn't look bad.
No,
not at all.
I got to toot my own horn a little bit because my picks have been absolutely not picks. My takes have been terrible. Okay, yeah. I bowed up on Anthony Richardson. Obviously, he's not going to win MVP this year. That was a bad take by me.
Yeah, throw that one out. Yeah.
That was a bad take by me. I talked about how Andy Dalton.
That's the hottest of hot takes.
Yeah,
Gardner Minshew.
It's hot and steaming.
Yeah, like shit.
It's stinky.
Gardner Minshew, he got off the heater that he was on. I said the Raiders were going to be like a top 12 offense, and then that got bad. That went bad really fast. And then Andy Dalton, I praised him, and then he played terrible and got benched. But anyways, I got to say, I was actually correct about the Steelers. Basically, down to everything, okay? And I got to celebrate this because as we're all learning, it's tough to try to predict what's going to work and what's going to work and what's not. Especially this year.
So
but
hard.
I fully supported the move to Russell Wilson. I was on team Russell Wilson whenever they were talking about, like, they should bench Justin Fields. I'm like, yeah, I think they should because we talked about it. Anyways, I was against it. We're going to go back to the draft time. I think we were basically all kind of against. I think I was the most against the draft pick of Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers already have a playmaking slot receiver with the potential in Calvin Austin. Yep. We saw the playmaking potential in this game. If you actually give Calvin Austin touches, let him go out there and return punts, give him some catches. He absolutely dusted the slot corner.
He's speedy as hell.
Yeah, just give him plays. Like, you didn't have to draft Roman Wilson. Obviously, Steelers need an outside receiver. They didn't draft one of those. So this is what I said all along. Just play Calvin Austin. You don't need Roman Wilson. Draft an outside receiver. And then, of course, my guy, Beanie Bishop. I said that Beanie Bishop deserves to be a starter back whenever we did the draft grades episode. So, like, I got to give myself a little bit of credit because I got the Steelers down. And
credit where credit's due. You did.
But I'll stop tooting my own horn because I have Anthony Richardson for MVP.
Yes, that kind of depletes everything else. All right, let's get into glazing some folks with that beautiful Chris Collinsworth glaze. So, who wants to start us off here? There's some big names that we could definitely glaze this week.
You guys can go.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm
debating between a bunch of guys.
Okay. Good. Because I'm gonna go with maybe the quarterback of the week, just because he got his team out of the toilet, at least for 1 week. Mm-hmm. It's Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Jameis Winston. He came out and clearly showed that this team was or the offense at least, was a Deshaun Watson problem. It wasn't like, obviously it was able to work against what we thought was a tough Ravens defense nonetheless. So, like, Jameis Winston, he went out there, on 41 attempts, he had 27 completions, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. He got the win against a tough Ravens team. Cedric Tillman, of all names, of all receivers in the NFL, he was his number 1 receiver on the day. He made Elijah Moore come back to life. He got Njoku a touchdown. Like that. Obviously, I've been shitting on the Browns all season, mainly because Deshaun Watson is terrible, and they just weren't willing to bench him because there had to have been somebody in Stefanski's ear like, no, we're paying him too much money. You can't bench the dude. But obviously this offense was a Deshaun Watson problem, and I love watching Jameis Winston pre-game and post-game interviews. They're amazing. He's
so good.
He's great.
He is so good. I got to give my love out to TJ Watt because, like, he might get stifled in some of these games because he's getting double or triple teamed, but it seems like the Giants might have forgot a few times, and he takes full advantage any chance he gets. Like I said, he ended up with like a couple sacks, and he had that strip sack fumble. It just looked easy. Just knock it out. I'm going to take that home. And, like, he just makes huge plays like, all the time. Anytime you need it, you can pretty much count on him to be there. I want to give a little special shout out to his side buddy that we already talked about, Alex Highsmith. I mean, he gets outshone by TJ, but, like, for anyone that really watches, Highsmith is an absolute problem on the edge.
Yeah.
TJ Watt, six pressures on the game, 2 sacks. Alex Highsmith, 11 pressures, 5 quarterback hits,
was everywhere.
2 sacks. Yeah.
All right. Well, I could go there's a lot of angles I could take here. I could go Bo Nix.
You could.
He's a dog.
Very good.
I could go the Lions offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's a dog. I could go with Kirk Cochains.
Oh, yeah.
I could go all these routes, but I'm going to go with Joe Rogan having Donald Trump on his podcast.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's at like 36 million views in a few days.
That's just going to keep going, too.
And, yeah, I'm just going to have to give my glaze to him.
I like that a lot.
That's a good one.
I mean, that.
Yeah, whenever you get a former president and billionaire Donald Trump on your show.
Election next week.
Yeah, next week.
Election's in 8 days.
Register to vote. And I guess, is it next? Yeah.
No, it's in 6 days. Holy shit.
Coming up.
It's Tuesday,
Go
right?
out
Yeah,
and
it's on
vote,
Tuesday.
I guess. Mm-hmm. That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, that was our Week 8 review and our glaze segment. So if you guys got any suggestions, feedback, comments, questions, let us know in the comments. Email us, lastupsportstalk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate you watching. Tune in next episode for our Week 9 preview, and we will see you on the next one.